Greetings, everyone. Ready for evolution. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Eric Trey Muhammad here doing this impromptu stream. I just wanted to make everyone aware of the reasoning and rationale behind the Paper to Gold, the 2020 Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference and Expo that will take place this coming August 22nd. That's a Saturday, August 22nd, 2020, from 2 to 7 p.m. And it's virtual, and it's going to be done on an exclusive platform that we'll be providing for all those who have already registered, all those that will be attending from throughout the planet. So I want to give you the rationale behind it, the logic behind it. First of all, thank you for chiming in. I know it's late in some locales of the world, but this is basically the only time that I really have where I run so much during the day in the wealth building opportunity. 5 and 6 streams sometimes a day. Today took it easy. Only did 4, and the only reason I did 4, to be honest, is because I fell asleep and missed one. So I just want to take time to really explain what time doesn't always permit when you have structured programming throughout your day and activity throughout your day. So I believe that once it's explained here, and it's shared out on the many streams. I know we're on YouTube currently. We're on LinkedIn. We're on the We Are Farrakhan page here on Facebook, as well as my page personally here. And we just want to share why this conference is as important as it is. And for the most part, you're looking at a situation where we represent change. We literally represent an opportunity for people to have a leg up in society in a way that they've never had before. This pandemic has caused crises in many homes, many households across the world. At the same time, it's produced solution. Miles Monroe, great philanthropist, great economist, wonderful preacher, motivational speaker. He had a lot of monikers, a lot of titles, extraordinary businessman. He passed back in 2014, I believe it was. But he was very clear about challenges and changes in time. And he referred to crisis as that which destroys tradition. And what I got from that was that when you have traditional means by which things are handled or accomplished. You know, when you want to learn, you go to school. When you need a job, you might pick up a certain vocation or pick up a certain skill set, and you work that role in society. When you have a political issue, you handle it in the Congress and in the Senate, and you have traditional things that are in place. We go to the church, we go to the mosque, we go to the synagogues, we go to spiritual centers, we go to cultural centers for certain activities that speak outside of the norm of what society offers to give ourselves relief. Well, when those things are interrupted by a crisis, interrupted because they cannot single-handedly or collectively solve the crisis, it destroys tradition. Crisis destroys tradition and produces a new way, a new norm. Hey, Sister Regina, good to see you, Queen. Sister Veronica Burrows. So, here we're in a time like we've never seen, folks. Oh, yes, we read about it. We may have witnessed it on the news in other parts of the earth, remote parts of the earth, when we say, oh, man, God bless them. I hope that never visits us. And some of us never thought it would visit us, and we thought we were immune to the wrath, the time, the judgment. We thought we were immune to all those things. Well, now we have a situation where the whole world has been made still, and it appears no one is immune. And it appears that the things of the former are now passing away. You look at all these large conglomerates, corporations that have been totally wiped out as a result of the pandemic. Last week, the largest clothing chain, Men's Warehouse, which owns Joseph Banks and other conglomerates, they've all filed bankruptcy, and they're closing stores because no one has a reason to buy men's suits, shirts, ties. The only entities that are surviving right now are those entities that carry household supplies or goods and or food. And as that scarcity grows, then they'll wane in existence. As the finances go south, as the dollar continues to collapse, then you'll find no purchasing power. And you'll see what you see around the world. You'll see bales of paper dollars laying around in the street, people using them as furniture. You'll see storefronts burned and destroyed. You see parking meters destroyed. Coins are no longer plentiful in society. I mean, you're witnessing something unravel right in your eyes, right in front of your face. And the traditional approach by banking, the traditional approach by government, the traditional approach by Fed Reserve and others will not hold. Millions more have been added to the unemployment rolls this week. 1 million on the books, millions more unspoken. All right. You had before the pandemic a 17 million unemployed on the books, not unspoken. You see, then they started doing a census to get a gauge of what was happening in society, and the census was interrupted by the pandemic, and then it was resumed. Now the census has been cut short by a month because of the pandemic again. No one wants to go to the doors. There's nobody around to tabulate. I'm in the state of Georgia. In Georgia right now, they announced the closing of 2 Department of Revenue centers in a couple of counties because of the spread of the pandemic. There are people still awaiting tax returns and refunds and all kinds of things from their filings in April and some in June and July. Even in the extension, there's no one there to process them. You're finding a situation where people are haranguing in the Senate and the Congress and taking a recess with the idea in mind that another stimulus package is coming. But what can you stimulate when you don't have the resources to back it? What will the paper stimulate? When you don't have enough purchasing power or strength in your dollar now, what do you think more dollars will do? See, these are things that many of us are made to think on because we've been so dependent and overly dependent on a government to correct or address a wrong because they promised they could. But when you've been wrong for so long and you came into existence based off of wrong, and you came into existence because you were criminal somewhere else and you were sent to continue your wrong, well, don't you think that's going to run its course? Why the 2020 Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference and Expo? Because there are several things that we can handle. Several things have been proven to us as wealth builders. We understand that our wealth is not based off the stacking of paper. Our wealth is based in 2 things: acquiring a leveraging asset that will stretch the financial stability of a household, that will stretch your dollars while it still has some remote value, and allow you to pool your resource in a way where it allows for societies to be maintained. I lived many places in the world. By God's grace, I've been blessed. I traveled a lot of places in the world. I lived in several places in the world, and I've seen some experiences, family. I've seen some cultures survive on nothingness. This is what I mean. When I first returned to Africa, when I first went back home to Guinea, Baba was there, Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael, and I went to stay with him until he transitioned. And when I first got there, I'll never forget, I got there and he said to me, "Hey, African, how you doing?" I said, "I'm good, Baba." He said, "Okay, first thing you're going to do, you're going to get with the comrades. You're going to leave for 3 days. I want you to travel to the slave villages, and I want you to de-Americanize yourself." I was like, "What?" "I want you to de-Americanize yourself. I want you to get this Western thing out of your head so you can live African." I was like, wow. I said, okay. I never argued anything he told me to do. He just said, jump. It was all a matter of how high, when. That's all. And I got in the vehicles with the brothers, and we drove I want to say close to 9 hours. I rode, they drove into the slave villages just before the country lines that divided Guinea and Sierra Leone. And we went to the slave villages of Samdi and Tramdi. Samdi and Tramdi were two slave villages that the former president of Guinea, Ahmed Sékou Touré, kept preserved once it was returned to the once slaves. See, the French came and colonized the country, and they created these slave villages, and they had us live in these villages to dig out their textile and produce the concretes and all the materials that they would have shipped back to Europe, refined, and then sold back to the continent at hundreds times the price. But they did it at the back, on the back, and on the strength and the sweat of the African slave. Well, once Guinea overthrew the French and ran them completely out of the country, President de Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle, then the president of France, was so upset. He said, well, we're taking everything out. We're going to take the power. We're going to take the irrigation. We're going to take everything out that gave you savages civilization. That was his thought. Secretary said, we don't need it. Go on about your business. But he preserved the slave villages so that we would never forget. Okay. So I go to the village, and there's no power, no electricity there, no running water there, and no supermarkets. Okay. And so I'm there for 3 days. When I first got there, I'm telling you, the skin tone of the people was so richly black. Like, you see this? Can you? Oh, okay, you see this? You see this black here in this box here? It was black like this, but shining. You know, and the babies, some of them had orange hair, some of them had blonde hair, beautiful, nappy, curly, naturally grown blonde, naturally grown orange. I saw black sand like coral, okay, on a little, I'll say lagoon. I mean, the Samdi and Tramdi were inland, so you didn't have water around it, but miraculously you could find these pools of water and ponds and black coral, and these trees grow right up out of it. Really nice. Okay, so I was the lightest complexion in the village, and you had to get the permission of the chief to stay in the village. Though they were aware I was coming, I still had to come and ask permission. And the chief was about 114, I think I was told. Very alert, very wonderful. He was a beautiful man, but he didn't speak English. And I had to go through his daughters and other, I don't know, I don't think they were family members, but I'll say staff, I don't know. But there was maybe about 14 or so people in the compound, and they were all there lined up, and I came with the comrades I was traveling with, and I was to ask formally permission to stay in the village. So when I came, and the daughters that spoke English spoke to me, they greeted me, and they told me how it would go, and it would be translated down to their father. And so when I walked in with them, the father talks immediately, and he's talking in Fulani, and I don't speak it. And so I didn't know what he was saying, and everyone started laughing. And so the young ladies turned to me and said, my father wants to know who let this white boy in, because I was the lightest complexion in it. Even the babies were laughing. I found it funny too. He taught me a lot of good things there. My point is that after the 3 days passed, and I wasn't overly dependent on electricity. I wasn't overly dependent on those conveniences. I learned the value of not being wasteful. I understood its value. I needed a haircut, and I sat down. A brother came up with a couple of straight razors. He just wet my hair, lathered with soap, and then put the razor between his hand like this and said, whoop, whoop, and I was bald. And I went on about my business. You know, I went and hung out and watched people do different things. When it was time to shower, there were buckets of rainwater that were poured over branches that were poured down on me, and I lathered and bathed in my black soap, and you know, it was beautiful. It was also coming up on rain season. When the rain season hit, another interesting thing was when it rained, all the babies came out into the community, and they all came out with their soap, and they're playing and they're bathing and they're laughing. Everybody's taking their baths. Then everybody goes back inside. Interesting dynamic. Okay, so we drive back, get back to Conakry, and I'm just as relaxed and calm. I'm dressed in my boo-boos, you know, the traditional pants and shirts, you know, very loose fitting, and, you know, didn't depend on a lot of zippers and buttons, just a drawstring for the waist and the fitting of the clothes. When I went to get my clothes made, there was a brother who walked up to me, and he looked at me at my feet. He looked back at me, and he said, "Come back at 4 o'clock. Your clothes will be ready." There were no tape measures or nothing. He just looked up and down. He said, "Come back at 4 o'clock. Your clothes will be ready." They were. You know, that experience and growing up poor. I don't mean poor like destitute or anything of that nature. We didn't know we were poor as children. We didn't know that it required much more from our parents to make sure that we had what we needed, or our grandparents or our guardians. They just did a very good job of being who they were. And as a result, hey, we were only poor once we grew up and read up statistics like, wow, you know, I had a black and white TV until I was in my 20s. That's another story. Anyway, so coming into a time like we're in now, God prepared me to develop a trained eye into seeing what's important to him. The reason why the earth was made to stand still, it isn't because of a great demon or a monster that's going to come out. There may be something like that in the works, but the overall reason is so that everyone will agree that God is God. Everyone is made to be still, to pay attention to that which is most important to him. All right. And so, you know, if I'm wrong, it'll prove itself. But if I'm right, I think you ought to listen. So the conference, the reason why we're doing this Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference and Expo is self-explanatory in one sense. Paper to gold. We know that gold is money. We know that gold is the real money. We know that gold and silver are the monies that God declared in the scriptures. I have some here. Here's some of the gold. Okay. Here's some. These are gram cards of gold. These are. Oh, what's that? No, that's a business card there. Sorry. These are gram cards of gold. You see? What do? We exchange our declining paper dollars for its weight and its value in gold. Why? Because money is defined as that which is able to store value, to store your value, that which is able to store your labor, and can be worth more in the future as it is today. It can be worth as much in the future or more than it is today. Well, when we started acquiring gold, when I came to Caribou's, it was in September of 2018. September 29th will be 2 years. My wife and I have been a part of Caribou's International. Well, when I came, gold was $11.70 an ounce. And we were getting it 1 gram at a time, tenths of a gram at a time, you know, and we were getting them. We were earning free gold through the packages that were developed. So we're accumulating all this gold. And then after a year of saving regularly, consistently, if you saved at least 1 gram of gold a month in the classic gold tradition of Caribou's, at the end of the 13 month, at month 13, you'll start receiving free gold shipped to you by FedEx. Gold like this. in stacks, in a cute little box. It comes in the larger box first. It comes in the larger box first, and then inside the box is a smaller box where you receive the gold, and you store. I don't have it there because I stored it. So the thing is that it was $11.70 an ounce. Yesterday, it was $2,050 an ounce. That means every ounce that we saved grew more than $1,000 per ounce in value. So, folks, what I'm saying to you is it's okay if you just want to have a job, earn a wage, because that earns you a living. When you store an asset, however, when you have gold, you earn a profit, and the profit will earn you a fortune. And so when you have something as stable, as concrete, as valuable as gold, the only currency that never expires, the only currency that does not have the ability to fall to zero. Think about this. Every nation on the earth is using paper as its currency. Every nation on the earth has the same commonality now because of the paper they're using, that they can all fall to an intrinsic value of nothing because there's nothing backing it. But when you deal with gold, if you had $100,000 worth of gold in 1971, that $100,000 worth of gold today would be worth close to $6 million. You understand? If you had $100,000 worth of paper in 1971, today it will be worth roughly $2,000, maybe $3,000 in value. Why? Because it's not real money. Real money has to store value. Real money has to store labor. Real money has to have the ability to be worth today or more in the future as much as it is today. Gold can give you that. Silver can give you that. Paper can't do it. So that's why we say paper to gold. We show you how to take $7, $8, $10, $20 and exchange it for its power in gold. We show you how to secure a package that will allow you to grow a residual income to the point where you can find yourself earning 25 grand a week. A week. A week. We can show you how to do it in 12 weeks. We can show you how to do it in 12 days. We can show you how to do it in 12 hours. Because it's all part of the same system. God's system. So, paper to gold. We exchange the declining, devaluing paper for its power and its weight in gold. Okay? The run to wealth is we unveil on a daily basis the number one secret that not only gold is money, but the number one secret of the wealthy is paying themselves first, and we show you how. So the run to wealth is a hurry up and look at that frivolous spending that we've done. Take into account your surroundings. What have you wasted and what have you wasted on? And how can you redirect that waste and turn it into a surplus to save it into real money and allow it to grow? Okay, but now that you have that logically in place, now what apparatus do you have to continue to grow it, give you cash flow, as well as protect it and preserve it? Because now that you have it, you don't let it go. I already told you what storing gold did for me and does for us as wealth builders. So why would you ever want to let it go? You never want to let it go. You learn how to leverage the power of the value. And you develop cash flow behind it, where you always maintain and preserve the gold. And as your gold grows, then you have to preserve it, meaning protect it. You have to leave it as a legacy. Why is Karatbar so important? Number one, it's your own business. It's free to join. It exposes you and introduces you to a global economy. 8 billion people in the world, and less than 1% know that gold is money, or even less know that gold is available. All right. It's a global economy. It provides unlimited income. This is not multi-level marketing. This is not direct sales. This is an opportunity that grows with you because the earnings can run into infinity. There are no levels in Carrot Bars. We're an e-commerce company. We just happen to have the product that everybody's looking for. Our product is real money. Our product is real money. We're e-commerce like Amazon. We're e-commerce like eBay. We're e-commerce, okay? But we have a product. But our product is rooted in a philosophy, and the philosophy is building people. So we run to wealth. We're going to show you at this conference how to acquire land and real estate and not give up your gold. We're going to show you how you can develop the income producing strategies of the wealthy, showing you aspects of private banking, family banking, reserve strategy banking. We show you at this conference how you can develop greater gold accumulation. We also show you at this conference how you can develop trusts, family trusts and wills, estate planning. Everything in the world of Carrot Bars is a willable asset. It's inheritable. You can leave it for your loved ones. You can leave your business aspect of it for your loved ones, and you can leave the gold associated with the business. You can leave it all for your children and your children's children. There are many people who have passed on since the emergence of Carrot Bars in 2011. Their families miss them, but the one problem they do not have is money, because they were structured properly. We show you how to develop that structure in this event on the 22nd of August. Now, the other thing you must know about the event. Is advanced ticket sales. They're only $11. I always say this is you're getting an $11 admission to a multi-million-dollar experience. All right. The general admission is $20. This means that the advanced tickets will end on August 18th. When advanced tickets end on August 18th, you will then move into the $20 general admission price. All right, so you can get your tickets now. You can go to www.runtowealth.info. It's there at the top of your screen, www.runtowealth.info, and you can get your tickets. Okay, now for those of you who say, man, I don't have it at all, we can relate to that. For those who will newly register for their gold savings account at www.goldguru.info, you get your new account and we will grant you free admission. Join our team at goldguru.info and you'll gain free admission to this extraordinary event that will set you on a course unparalleled, like none that you've ever seen. There are people in the wealth building community who will even make a way and gift you an admission. This is our way of doing it. You can get a free admission. Those who have not registered in the world of Carrot Bars as an affiliate or a customer, you can join us at www.goldguru.info and gain free admission into this extraordinary event. Okay. So I want you to really pay attention to who's there, who's going to be there. You have Mr. Tyrone Best, the CEO and founder of Wealth Builders Worldwide. We're a group of independent affiliates associated with Carrot Bars International. There are more than 120,000 of us in the world working in a way where we preserve wealth, teach the culture of preservation, teach the culture of wealth building, unlike any entity on the planet. And we work with everybody. We love on everybody. Wait for no one. Our only job is not to convince you. Our only job is to show you that there is another way. In this hour, we know everyone's looking for that other way. Our senior partner in Wealth Builders Worldwide, Mr. Michael L. Dalcoe, also the convener, co-convener. He and his wife are the conveners of Let's Go Weekend biannual convention. We do a convention twice a year, April and September of each year. We do this convention. This is the first virtual Let's Go weekend, which will occur next month. Mr. Dalcoe, a millionaire in Carabal's International, he walked away from his mortgage banking position that he held for 15 years. He replaced his entire six-figure income within 103 days in this opportunity as a wealth builder in Carabal's International. Much of who you see on those platforms have done some of the same. You have Miss Kimberly Broomer, COO, and We Buy Houses, I believe it's called. Excuse me, Sister Kimberly, if I messed up. Mrs. Kimberly Broomer-Carroll. Okay, and she teaches land acquisition. She teaches real estate acquisition. She shows you how to preserve and the best strategies by which you can acquire and still preserve what you have. Mr. Kenneth Harrison, beautiful attorney, wonderful man who has the skill and has been as CEO and president of Renaissance. He has a proven track record of providing wills and trusts and putting people on track to make sure that their legacies are preserved and their wishes are maintained long after they're gone into generations. Think about it. Having a structure that it expires at 99 years, and in the 99th year, it automatically renews for another 99. Boy, that's just one of the types. And then Brother Tony Chamblee, who shows you there's a hole in your bucket and shows you how to plug it up. He teaches the power of compound opportunity costs. You're going to learn that power. You're going to learn what the wealthy do. How do they get their cars, their homes, and all this kind of stuff? How do they get all these extraordinary loans and never have to repay it? I mean, that's optional to them. You're going to learn about the different sciences that are associated with you having money and leveraging yourself with what you have. See, it's one thing to have leverage. It's another thing to know how to apply that leverage. And we show you a lot of that opportunity in what we provide in these platforms and in these forums and in our regular everyday activity in the world of Carabal's International, in our world and culture as Wealth Builders Worldwide. Every morning from Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m., I do a presentation here on the Eric Ture Muhammad Facebook page called Classes in Session. And we share a lot of different things there that inspire, that help to grow, that help to encourage, that help to inform, but I don't have the time in those platforms and in the live streams I do wealth building around the world. I don't have time to really share with you from my heart why I believe this particular conference is so important. I want 1,000 early bird tickets secured. Because when we secure those tickets, it allows us to do so much for so many people around the world who do not have the opportunity that we have in front of us right now. It's going to help us in our outreach. It's going to help us in our growth. It's going to help us communicate this information. We're not in charge of convincing people. We're not in the convincing business, but we are charged with the responsibility to share it. So that's what I'm striving for. Personally, I'm striving for 1,000 early bird registrations, and that time expires August 18th, midnight Eastern time, and we're going to do all that we can to get there. I believe we'll do it. More importantly, I want the world to understand that there's opportunity in this crisis. We don't have to sit around trying to figure out what we're going to do. God has already given it to us, and he's chosen a select few to prove it to the entire world. So we want to show you. We want to do our part and show you and give you the opportunity to decide. So I want to thank you all for being a part of this stream. I hope I wasn't too long or too lengthy. I know I shared a little bit of a backdrop, but I thought it was important that you understand that we, myself and others, have an understanding about this world and how it works and how it has worked against us for so long, But now we get a chance to rewrite the narrative. We get a chance to control our economy. We get a chance to control and maintain, or for some of us, develop for the first time, the power to define, control the narrative, work your dream. You see? So thank you once again. Remember, August 22nd is the 2020 Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference and Expo. It is called the Expo because we intend to have an open market virtually where vendors, you can visit their wares. After the presentations are made, each presenter has the opportunity to go off into a private area if you want to speak with them, talk with them about their products, what they negotiate, what they do. I think you'll find a lot of benefit from that. I want to thank all of you who've gotten tickets so far. I want to thank all of you for sharing it. We just need to do more sharing, encourage more people to do. Hey, Brother William Hafiz Bay, Brother David Mack, good to see you, brother. Brother Royal Calhoun, and Sister Regina, again, thank you so much. I just want all of you to know that we are positioned to help others, help those who are willing to help themselves. And it will help you. It will help me. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I will see us all. Those of us who are wealth building will be on the training platform. You're invited to join us tomorrow or later today, 9 p.m. Eastern, on our Gold Rocks platform. You'll learn more about that as the day progresses, so you can get back to the one who introduced you to the opportunity. And I have another session I have to do in about 2 hours. It's a private roundtable, but I'm up, about, and around. So I want to thank you for the time, and I'll see us all on the other side of money. Peace and power. Forward.